Some big news dropped today in the world of baseball and an ex-Mariner alert as the Cincinnati Reds shortstop/third baseman, 22-year-old Noelvi Marte has just been suspended by baseball for 80 games for violating their PED policy. In this article by CBS Sports, it states that Noelvi has been suspended 80 games after testing positive for boldenone, a performance-enhancing substance. It states that Marte can participate in spring training and play in spring training games until the start of the regular season. That 80-game suspension will start on opening day. The Reds, following this news today, kept their statement short. They stated, "The Reds fully support Major League Baseball's drug policy and its penalties. We will have no further comment." I did some digging, and this is an article from April 2020 from the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency about boldenone. This states, boldenone is an anabolic, androgenic steroid and synthetic derivative of testosterone that was originally developed for veterinary use, but has since become one of the more common performance-enhancing drugs that athletes test positive for in sport. It states that with a chemical structure that's nearly identical to testosterone, boldenone can stimulate protein synthesis and the release of erythropoietin in the kidneys. Athletes sometimes use boldenone, which may be sold on the black market to increase muscle mass and strength. Along with being prohibited in sport, athletes should be aware of the many health and safety issues surrounding boldenone. I also looked up which other baseball players have been suspended for boldenone use. In this article from Wikipedia, it's not really any other big name players. If you think back a couple years to the 2022 MLB trade deadline, the trade that sent Luis Castillo from the Cincinnati Reds to the Seattle Mariners involved Noelvi Marte as the headliner along with Edwin Arroyo, Levi Stout, and Andrew Moore. Levi Stout was actually recently DFA'd by the Reds and rejoined the Mariners. Noelvi Marte is an incredibly promising prospect for the Cincinnati Reds, and he was basically a lock to make their opening day roster. Last year, he made his MLB debut and hit .316 with a .366 on-base percentage, of .456 slug, in 35 games in the big leagues. And headed into the 2024 season, Noelvi Marte was ranked as the number 21 overall prospect in all of baseball via MLB.com. Noelvi was slotted to be the Reds' everyday third baseman heading into the season, and the Reds in the NL Central are looking to win their first division title since back in 2012. Even without Noelvi in the lineup, the Reds have a very promising roster put together. Going position by position, at catcher they have Tyler Stevenson, first base is Christian Encarnacion Strand, Matt McClain at second base along with Jonathan India behind him. Slotting in at third base now is likely going to be Heimer Candelario. You got shortstop Elly De La Cruz. And then in the outfield, you got Spencer Steer, TJ Friedl, Will Benson, and Jake Fraley. On top of a pitching staff with a lot of upside in starting pitchers Hunter Green, Graham Ashcraft, Frankie Montas, Andrew Abbott, Brandon Williamson, Nick Lodolo, Connor Phillips, and then a back end of the bullpen in Lucas Sims and Alexis Diaz. So some unfortunate news today for Reds fans and baseball fans, as really the Reds are one of America's teams, one of those teams that have a lot of fun, young, exciting talent that it's easy to get behind and root for them. We'll see what Noelvi Marte's camp comes out and says about how he tested positive, what he was taking. Was it a pre-workout that potentially caused him to test positive? But if you're an athlete and you want to be sure you won't test positive on a drug test, make sure to check out Black Label Supplements. They are a third-party tested, athlete-approved supplement company, up and coming. Visit blacklabelsupplements.com. Use code CouchGM for 15% off. And as always, to stay up to date on all things baseball and sports, make sure to subscribe to the Couch GM. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this Noelvi Marte news, and we'll see you next time.